What's up, folks? How's it going? Happy afternoon. Happy afternoon. Where the hell did that come from? Happy afternoon. It is afternoon here. It's 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's been a busy day. I've been editing. My eyes are crossed. They don't look like it, do they? Oh, they feel crossed. Anyways, figured I'd come on here for a little bit, see what everybody's up to. Let's see who's everybody. Well, so far in chat, Sab. Hey, Sab, how are you? Steven, brother, how are you? Night Owl, good to see you. And Tim. What's new, Tim? And anyone else lurking? The 5 people that are lurking in chat. Oh, well, there's 3 of them, 4 of them. Anyways, cheers. Open discussion. Really? Yes. Figured we had a we did have our regular episode last night, 9 p.m. Nocturnal Frequency Radio, and we just basically talked about the woodlot and our time there shooting there, and yeah, dispelling a lot of the myths behind the woodlot. Hey, Adrian, because any rational oh my god, anyways, any rational paranormal investigator will do that. You have to. You have to explain the explainable. Yeah. So anyways, I've been working on Dr. Demon Gord's reaction to an episode of Twin Paranormal. And that will be up soon. Probably not until the end of the week, because I'm on vacation, folks. Officially on vacation. And I will be on the road. And you might see me here on the road, live on the road from wherever I am. Possibly sometime, somewhere. Well, yeah, upstate New York, anyways, which is huge. Hey, Cal. Upstate New York. It's huge. It's beautiful this time of the year. Gets better, obviously. I mean, most people think about when you hear the word New York State, they think New York City, right? New York City. But New York City is, although it's huge, it's a small, extremely small part of New York State, and especially upstate New York. Upstate New York is absolutely beautiful. The Adirondacks, the mountain range up by Vermont, the state of Vermont, which also is very, very, very beautiful, especially this time of the year, the fall, autumn, the leaves changing. And if that's your cup of tea, then I do recommend you highly check them out, that area out. We're not going to make it up that far this time, but we will be going to about mid up New York State, western sort of New York State. We're on the Finger Lakes, and the Finger Lakes, again, are very, very beautiful. It is, isn't it, Stephen? Very beautiful. And this time of the year, I wish I was able to do it probably a little later. Maybe give it a week or two to go, but unfortunately, it's going to happen this week, which is fine because you get the gist of things. Things are changing. The leaves are changing, but it's still relatively warm. It's very warm. I mean, today's a crisp day. It's pretty crisp. It's crispy out there, but it's not cold. It's just a stark reminder that we are now in the fall. So it's kind of like normal fall weather, but it's been relatively warm, like unusually warm. We normally get what's called an Indian summer, but I don't think summer's ever ended up until the last week or two. But even so, it's still warm. It's like it's never ended. It's summer seems to be like, I don't know, sticking around like a bad odor, slowly fading, but still. I mean, we were in the woodlot shooting the last few episodes last Friday, and it was brutal, man. It was absolutely fucking brutal. Brutal in the sense where it was really warm. Don't get me wrong, it was nice, but it had just rained. So in the summer, after rain, the moisture and everything else attracts the mosquitoes. And when you go into the woods after this, you're bound to be hoarded by mosquitoes. And that's what happened. And it's really, really a shame because I mean we really couldn't get a lot of what we wanted to achieve done because it was bad. We were being attacked front, left, and center. I mean, I do have some footage, I think. Hold on. And you kind of get the idea. Let me just see if I can load it up here. I don't know if I can. Let me just see if it'll play. And just to give you an idea of how brutal it was. Hold on. Bear with me, guys. I'm just going through the files to give you. Here we go. I think this might be the file here. Where are we? I haven't gone through this footage yet. Here we go. Let's see.
So what was it you just encountered, Steve? What was that by your head?
It's mosquitoes, man.
Mosquitoes. Are they demonic?
I don't know if this is a good idea for something.
Listen, do you hear that?
What is this?
That could be a demonic thing. Whoa, are you okay?
Yeah.
That could have been a demonic stick. Be careful.
They're
Jesus,
everywhere.
guy, seriously. Don't fuck around, man. Demons.
All right. It's This is not very good. The mosquito right in here,
I don't know if they're mosquitoes though. Look at them.
they are mosquitoes. They are mosquitoes.
Do you feel that
And
maybe
the problem is we can't go over to the mound because it's too close to the fucking school. Orbs. So maybe
Want to try the other side?
maybe try the other side might be better. So there you go. I mean it was brutal. I mean they were flying everywhere. Everywhere. Absolutely horrendous. And So we're gonna have to reschedule that shoot, which kind of sucks. I was hoping to have the first episode in the bag for the second half of the first and only season of the Dark Woodlot. Yeah. So, anyways, yeah. As you can see in the footage, there the mosquitoes were pretty bad, and so basically, we were trying to uh, go to an area, and I can't really say too much about it because we haven't episode 5, which is coming out soon, kind of has a kind of a pivotal sort of moment in it that kind of makes us, do a 360 in terms of what is going on in there. So we went to the back to that area to check up on it again, and unfortunately, it just didn't make out. I think Dr. Demon's legs were hacked to shit by the mosquitoes. So, yeah. Anyways, uh, let's get this here. All right, there we go. God. Okay, so yeah, hopefully we'll be able to get that restart soon. Unfortunately, it won't be until next week. Ooh, next week. Let's see, next week. Yes, could possibly make. Yes. Okay. No, I'm just checking out the schedule. So, yeah. Anyways, so what's new, guys? What's everybody been up to since last night? Yeah, since last night. So, anyways, if you watched the show last night, we basically just talked about. Hey, Louise, how are you? Basically talked about how it's been like to shoot in the woodlot, some of the experiences that have happened over the years, and again, this has been 4 years in the making. A lot of it has been 4 years in the making. Uh, and as we pointed out, it's pretty much coming to an end because the area is has been sold now to the city, and surveyors have been on the site. And it looks like it's only a matter of time before they make a decision as to what they're going to be doing with the site. Now, from what I understand, it's going to be low income housing, condos, and residential and commercial. So, with that being said, I don't think the woodlot's going to be spared. I highly doubt it, which is very sad. I hope it will be spared, but I don't think it will be because when you look at the logistics of the roads surrounding this plot of land, it looks like one of the major roads is literally been planned to be connected together. And if that's the case, they would. I'm sure they're not going to like work around the woodlot. They're going to go plow right through it. So that's going to be gone. Sad but true. So when that's going to happen, I don't know. They no decisions have been made as far as I know. Only rumors. There has not been any sort of official word as to um, you know, what the city is looking to do. Proposals haven't been laid out on the table for the community to sort of ponder and comment, and you can comment all you want. It's not going to stop progression. They're going to do what they want with that because they own that land now, which is sad. Unless there is some sort of, well, they're, digging, some sort of native artifacts are found or whatever, then they'd have to stop. And then they would have to, it would go into a archaeological dig, so to speak, investigation. And that would pretty much hold up things for God knows how long, maybe permanently. But hey, that's just a possibility. I'm not saying that's what will happen or what could happen. It could happen, but what may happen, yeah, it's a possibility. It's not outside the realm of happening. So, do I want to see them develop on that land? No, I absolutely don't. It's really too bad. If they do begin developing on that land, uh, you know, it's it's really nice to know that there's that, sort of that peaceful little plot, that chunk of peacefulness even though in the direct area it's suburban, it's still relatively busy. It's still relatively busy and the population is growing. So I mean, you have that little piece of paradise, if you will, left. It would be nice if they were to preserve it and, make something with it, but, they're not gonna do that. I'd be really, really surprised if that's even an option. I mean, again, with the planning, there are communities that are close by that are similar, and they have preserved, like, little wooded areas so people, like, trails can walk through and blah, blah, blah. But, would they do it here? I just don't know. I really don't know. I mean, hopefully they will preserve it, but that's a lot of land to sacrifice for that, which I highly doubt they will. So, all right, I'll open this up. Go for a little while anyways. And if anybody wants to come in, click the link by all means. Pin it to the top. And there we go. There we go. Yeah. So again, it's open. And the reasoning for the title, "When the Pumpkin Ale Flows No More." I'm just finding, I'm a big, you guys know I'm a big craft beer fan, and I love my pumpkin ales. But I'm finding this year, a lot of them aren't producing their pumpkin ales. I guess the demand's not there. It's not there anymore. Have you been watching the new Ghost Hunt Adventures? Something? Damn, no. I can't even. I can't even come to grips with doing that. I can't. I really don't like Zach Bagans. I can't stand him. Ooh, I can't stand him. He drives me nuts. Oh. No, Louise, have you been watching it? What are your thoughts? We've only uh, and you like did you like Most Haunted? I know there's a lot of people that can't stand Serial Hope. They're really good. I'm good, Safari. Everything's good here. How about you? Hopefully everything's good on your end there, buddy. Good to see you. Paranormal Prince. Oh God. No. No. I have a hard time watching a lot of paranormal shows. I mean, hey Faith, how are you? Good to see you. I used to watch them a long time ago. Yeah, like, when they first started coming out, you know, Ghost Hunters. And I did enjoy the first season. The first season was what it was. Took it for what it was. And then the second season, that's when the entertainment fucking started flying because, hey, well, we had a successful first season. How are we going to double that? Well, what do? We start throwing in the gimmicks, faking shit. And that's not on, Jason Hawes and the guys. That's on the producers. And that's the problem. I mean, I've been a part of two two TV shows, and I know what it's like. I know what it's like. I know where their aim is. They want to go with what, sells, what gives that sort of entertainment value. And so I know what it's like. I know what it's like to work on a paranormal TV show. And when they say it's reality, it's not reality. It's not reality. It's the furthest thing from reality. It's scripted. Of course, it's scripted. It's scripted. I mean, yeah, yeah, me too, Tim. Skinwalker Ranch. Here's another one. I mean, don't get me wrong. They're entertaining. They're entertaining, and I take it for that. They're entertaining. A lot of them. Ghost Watch Live. Yeah, but you know what? It might have been a little bit of a hoot, but you know what? It was creepy, Steven. The Ghost Watch Live, that was creepy. I really commend these guys that are able to sort of give you that sort of level of creepiness and make it work. That's great. Like, come on. Who was it? Like, when the Blair Witch first came out. Okay, here we're just stretching it into horror movies here a little bit, but when the Blair Witch first came out, they were marketing it as a real sort of thing, right? Found footage, the website, the whole nine yards were based on this being real. And, the actors weren't allowed to do any interviews or anything like this until after the premiere of the show, the movie. And I mean, even when you went to the website, you're like, oh man, this is crazy. This is real. Oh wow. And I remember going to the theater to watch the movie for the very first time. And I'm like, yeah, this is yeah, okay. It is what it is. And then it wasn't, I think, until the end of the movie, when they're in the house. And I found it really freaky, when they're like, the audio and the visuals were kind of split up. You're getting the audio from the camera from downstairs, and they're splitting the audio and the visuals. And it was really, really cool how they were doing that. Kind of giving you like a very, very deep scope of what's going on in that house. And it's happening so fast. And it's so real. And you think to yourself, "Oh my god, what the fuck would I do in that position if I was in that position in a house and there's some fucked up crazy, witch, ghost, spirit killing bitch, whatever." What would you do, right? You should, Tim, just for the hell of it, give it a go. And like I said, I always go to the last sort of 20 minutes of the movie kind of are the best part is the best part of it. I mean, does it hold up today still? Yeah, kind of. I suppose it still holds up for what it is or what it was. But I don't know. But again, going back to the TV shows, the paranormal TV shows. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I watch them, but I have a hard time now watching them. And I think it's because of how, you know, investigating the paranormal for close to, 25 years now. 25 years. And seeing and experiencing what it's really like to do this. And then, watching these people on TV sort of mocking it, and yeah, I just find myself, hollering at the TV, you know. I just have a hard time. I try and try. I mean, the latest obviously was, with all the hoopla behind the Conjuring House thing, because I mean, a lot of shit's going on down there. So I've been watching a lot of stuff on the Conjuring House, and what a fucking joke. And the other one is Twin Paranormal. Twin Paranormal. For fuck's sakes, come on. I mean, what you thought paranormal television shows have hit their all-time low? Well, thank you, Louise. You know, when you think paranormal television has hit an all-time low, watch Twin Paranormal. Honestly, you know, I think that's when it's hit its low. It's hit its low. And we did a little thing with Dr. Demon Gord. We filmed him. He had never watched an episode of Twin Paranormal before. So I said, okay, well let's film his reaction, because you know how animated Dr. Demon Gord gets. I mean, you've seen him with Scooter Guy in the dark woodlot, and now his latest rant on alien abductions. If you haven't watched that, go ahead and watch it. It's here on the channel. Watch it. It's hilarious. He's animated. I'm telling you, he's so animated. And when you put him in front of a TV or whatever and show him, like, for the very first time, he's already very critical when it comes to paranormal TV shows. But holy crap, man, it's even better when you film him in the process of watching it. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with Gord wholeheartedly. Because but I know it's entertainment. I know it's entertainment. And I know it's all about getting likes. I mean, when you watch something and for the first, 10 minutes of the fucking program is them selling their merch, it's like, come on. What's that tell you? It's got nothing to do with, paranormal investigative, you know, whatever, ghost hunting or whatever you want to call it. It's got nothing to do with that. Nothing. So yeah, I mean, there you go, right? I will from time to time sit down and watch something, simply for research. And again, like I said, I haven't really watched anything over the last little. I watched, the last thing I really actually seriously sat down and watched was Zach Bagans' Demon House. What a fucking joke! Oh my god, that was hilarious. I mean, I gotta watch it again just to remember a lot of it, because I think I've never caught myself talking so much during a fucking during a fucking movie or documentary or whatever. But oh, what a joke. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. Sorry guys. It's I just been keeping up to date with a local incident that happened here. There was local business just around the corner that was shot up, bullet holes, the whole 9 yards, casings, blah blah blah. The cops were there, and just keeping up to date as to what was going down. Yeah, it's really really sad when it happens close to home. You know, you really don't want to hear or see or experience that type of violence close to home. You really don't, and it really becomes concerning because it makes you think, okay, am I in the right neighborhood? Never had that issue here before. But anyways, hey Friday, how are you? Good to see you. Long time no see. So yeah, just sorry, I'm just checking from time to time my feed on that. Um, anyways, going back to the paranormal TV shows. And it's not just paranormal TV shows. It's reality TV in general. But when where we're concerned, it is paranormal, right? Paranormal TV shows. Paranormal TV shows. It's really sad. I mean, we've been doing covering these things for God knows since 28 or sorry 2008. We've had a lot of people on the show. Just give me a second. I'm just loading something up here. How we've had a lot of people on the show that have dealt with and have been in paranormal TV shows. I don't know if you remember the show Fact or Fiction, when they literally take on a paranormal aspect and literally investigate it to see if it's actually fact or fiction. And their analysis was usually pretty good, but even then, it's TV. Come on, it's entertainment. But we had oh, what's his name? It's Foggy. What's his name? When it comes to me, I'll let you know. But we had him on the show to talk about the show, and you know, it was the former. Was it the former FBI dude? Ah, I'd have to go back into our archives to look at it. And I should upload it to the vaults here on YouTube. I haven't got that on the vaults yet. And by the way, if you want to check some of the old shows out, we're talking about older shows, some of the older classic shows that were on BTR or New Visions Radio Network only before we started simulcasting here on YouTube. Go to Nocturnal Vaults here on our channel, and you can catch some of the more notorious shows that we had done over the years, controversial shows that we've done over the years. And hey, we're all about controversy. Seriously, I mean, you need to open those can of worms, those paranormal can of worms. You really do, to keep people on their toes. That's not to say that all our shows deal with debunking or calling out or whatever. No, I mean, we do give people platforms to talk about their experiences in the paranormal. We've had a lot of really cool guests. We've had people who are like, psychiatrists and so on and so on. Their angle of the paranormal, what it might be, scientists, you know, I know. Wow, 18. Come on, guys, spread it out there. Let's boost this up a little bit. But what I like, we like bringing in these people that kind of, okay, wow, interesting perspective, right? I mean, you definitely want to have an interesting perspective, something fresh, something new. Because I mean, let's face it. What's the point of bringing on a guest that's been on 50 million different fucking shows and just regurgitate the same stuff, right? yeah, you may not have heard the person before, and it's to you it's new, and I get that bit. But I mean, it's always nice to bring in somebody that hasn't really done the circuit, if you will. You know, that hasn't been at every fucking convention across the US or the UK and Canada or whatever. So I mean, we like to bring those people, out of the woodwork and so on and so on. And we rely on you guys to give us some suggestions. Let us know what you guys want to hear or see on the show. And again, once again, those are every Sunday night. I'm doing good, man. How about you, Tom? Hopefully everything's good on your in your neck of the woods. Um, you know, Give us your suggestions. I mean, leave a comment. Leave a comment in the comment section here. Like, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. We haven't started monetizing yet. I mean, we're kind of looking at it, going, do we want to do that? I don't know. I mean, it wasn't really our mission to get to a level and be monetized. You know, I mean, we could do it, snap of the fingers, whatever. I mean, and we may eventually do it. Who knows? Because it's expensive. It is. It's getting really expensive to run this. Right now, we're doing StreamYard, right? And oh my God, you don't even see. Hold on, which is kind of weird. Let me just see here. No, that's kind of weird. What's going on here? I don't want that. I don't want. Open up. Go there. Which is kind of weird. You don't even see the StreamYard logo. What's going on here? Have we been updated? What the hell? Because no, I know, Tim, and it may get to that point because I mean it is expensive. It is expensive, paying for StreamYard, and we do pay, you know, for uh, for our time on the radio network as well. All in all, it comes out to about, to give you a ballpark idea, it costs us, out of Alex and myself's pockets monthly. It costs us about $45 Canadian, which is peanuts in UK. uh should make the intros for some. Oh, I love making intros. I love making them. They're great. And you know what? I don't claim ownership of the music. That is I really really love. Yeah. I mean, I'm all up for making intros for anybody. I mean, that's my background. I do it. But I mean, I really, really do enjoy White Bat Audio's Carl Casey's music. I absolutely fucking love it. The guy is a genius when it comes to music. An absolute genius. And you have to give credit when credit is fully due. And I have no problems whatsoever giving him full credit because I mean, rightfully so, right? I mean, and he's here on YouTube. Guys, go check him out. White Bat Audio. That's all you have to type in. White Bat Audio. You can't miss it. The guy's got shitloads of fucking subscribers. He lays down new tracks literally, twice a week, three times a week, something like whatever. And the guy's amazing. I mean, his music's just phenomenal. Let me just yeah, yeah. Here I'll just Just play some stuff for you. Yeah. Where are we? Like just here's some. Be right back, guys. Then you have that. Then you have this. This music's amazing, man. It's so yeah, exactly. So animated. So 80ish. You've got the idea. But that's what I mean. The guy is phenomenal, man. His range is just incredible. But I love using his music, and like I said, I've credit where and I mean like I said last night on the show last night. I was thinking very very you know intensely as to the dark woodlot and the whole intro sort of thing. And I'm like, yeah, this is tough. It's really tough. Like, how am I going to do this? When I heard this tune, I'm like, hey, this is just perfect. You know, and again, it's very 80ish, but still very retro. If it was fitting. Teddy Ranger, Paul. But I mean, as you can see, like I said, when I edited that, and I'm like, wow, perfect. It just stuck. And now when you kind of see that. You kind of know you've got an episode of the Dark Woodlot coming, right? I mean, now it seems synonymous with the Dark Woodlot, and I obviously like to thank. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly, Tom. Yeah. It's just absolutely incredible. But like I said, we have probably the last 4 episodes, probably three or four episodes, because I'm splitting it up because five five is going to be the last episode until we have that sort of hiatus, and then we're going to have the last 3 or 4 episodes of the Dark Woodlot. So that's coming. Uh, yeah, I've enjoyed watching Ranger Paul's stuff, man. It's been a while since I've been in his chat though. But thanks for popping in, Ranger Paul. Good to see you. Sab, always great to see you. You know that. Good, and yourself. Um, like I said, if anybody wants to click the link. Open chat for a while. Probably go until about maybe 2:30. We'll see. Yeah, give or take 2:30. Just open. Because we like you see, we did do our show last night. And this is again, if you didn't catch the show last night, by all means grab the show here on the channel. We're unlike a lot of those guys going, for the first, hour. Hey guys, buy our merch. We got some new merch. Buy it. Absolutely. If you want to come on, come on. By all means, Ranger Paul. Paul, come on up. Anybody's invited. Like I said, anybody's invited. It's an open discussion this afternoon here. Again, it's I'm thinking close to 2, so that's what close to it's getting close to 7 o'clock there in the UK, I believe, right? It's like 6:48 your time, guys. It's the evening, anyways. But yeah, anybody's more than welcome to pop on up. Let's see here. Let me just see. Just double checking. 12:47. Friday, where are you? You're in Texas, right? You're somewhere in mountain. Where are you roughly? Tom, where are you? 11 hours ahead. Yeah, I remember Friday in Texas. Yeah. I love the state of Texas. I love the state of Texas. I enjoyed my time there. I'd love to go back. I mean, it was an interesting drive from El Paso, and I'll tell you, fucking staying in El Paso, that was pretty fucking crazy. Right at the border, man. That was fucking crazy. So you're in Houston, north of Houston. Yeah, I haven't been. I've just been outside Houston, and yeah. Paul, how are you?
I'm all right, thank you. Yeah, just got a bit of a cold at the moment.
Yeah,
With a sniffle.
Seems to be going around a lot. I'm hearing a lot of people with colds and da 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 da. It just are we entering that time of the year when people start to come down with those dreadful colds? But how are you, mate?
Just Savannah, I've been meaning to come and talk to you on your channel before now, but one thing and another, because I haven't been able to get around to it. So I thought today I'm going to do it. I'm going to get sorted. Going to get in there.
Awesome.
But,
Well,
yeah.
I do enjoy your channel. I do enjoy what you're doing there. Keep it up. It's intriguing. Oh, we got another person. Hey, Sab, How are you?
Hey,
There you
hey,
go.
Paul.
I am
Everybody in chat.
all right. Yeah, I've got a few of us now. It's getting popular.
Yeah.
So for those that aren't subbed to Paul already, Paul was on a live stream earlier on. We're making like protection bracelets and so on and so forth. Yeah, so if you're interested in all that sort of stuff, please do go over to Ranger Paul X and sub up and come and join us in his
Sub to Paul's channel, man. Do it.
Thank you very much, mate. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Really, really, really cool. And well, Paul, we'll have to have you on one of the actual episodes. I know it's late there, but I mean, I don't mind. I don't mind doing it a little earlier because I know you're 5 hours ahead of time, and we're normally 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So what's that? 2 a.m. your time? But I mean, we could do it earlier.
I don't mind. I can stay. I mean, it's only like 10 to 7 in the evening here, so I don't mind doing it. Probably after this weekend, because it's going to be a bit busy for this week and today this week.
Well,
anytime really.
It'll be a little while. We got the schedule. The schedule's pretty full right now, but I'll definitely reach out to you and say, hey, let us know.
Yeah, I can do 2 o'clock in the morning now. It's not a drama.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it's not a drama. I very rarely sleep. I don't sleep as much as I used to, so but yeah, I can work out 2 in the morning, not a drama.
Awesome.
So
it's
getting ready for Halloween now, though, isn't it?
Oh yeah, Halloween. I love Halloween. It's my favorite time of the year, and I don't know why. It just is. Hey, Dreaded, how are you? So, Paul, let me ask you, and because people who may not know who you are and what you do, give them kind of like a scenario of what does Ranger Paul do in terms of investigating the paranormal?
Well, first of all, I started off doing my channel, and it remains really as like a video library for my wife because my wife's disabled, so she can't get out. So it started off like with a bit of everything, walking, climbing, and all sorts. And then I partly was interested in the paranormal. I've been for a very, very long time, since probably the 70s. And then I started to get I thought about doing videos, and then basically, I like to try different things, mix different techniques on investigations because some people describe me as an empath, but that's not really what I'm about. What really happened to me in terms of what I do now happened to me 20 so years ago when I died on the slab during an operation.
Wow.
And that really affected everything. There's a video, I've done a video on that to explain it, but it's quite hard to explain because it's one of them things. It's not easy to explain. And then like a consequence of that was I'm able to read, write, and speak ecclesiastical Latin, that's church Latin, fluently, and I've never been taught it before. So I kind of like that's so I started to put together a bit of Christian ways of doing things. I suppose there's paganistic elements to the paranormal as well. So it's a bit of a mixed match, really. Try new techniques.
So, well, let me ask you the difference in the approach of investigating the paranormal. What is the difference? Do you from your standpoint, your experience with the Christian sort of aspect as opposed to the pagan sort of aspect?
Well,
did we lose Paul?
Oh, you're frozen, Paul.
Yeah, Paul froze. Oh, he froze. We asked the almighty important question, and he froze. Hopefully he
it could have died because he has just been on a live stream himself. So obviously, you know what battery life is like a lot of the time when you're doing live streams.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. So how you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good. It's good to see you, man. It's always good to see you, Sab.
And yourself, man. And yourself.
She'll be back.
Oh, yeah, there you are.
Believe it or not, you're not going to believe this. Whenever I talk about these things, it shuts down.
That's what I was saying to Sab. We were asking you the ever so important question, and all of a sudden,
I was doing it to him earlier on as well. As soon as he was getting to the crucial points of his conversation, and he also pointed out as well, it doesn't want me to tell you this. It's not a secret, but it just doesn't want me to tell you.
It shuts it down. Yeah, So basically, it's along a sort of an exorcism point of view. So it's probably looking at the fact that, I suppose the way to describe it is, in graveyards we have benches, and benches are there so the living can update the dead on what's going on in the community, and that is that is across the broad spectrum of belief, because the dead, it's not like they're not here, they're here all the time. So it's up to the living to update the dead on what's going on in silent reflection, because obviously you don't talk about it, because otherwise you look a bit mad talking to yourself on a bench. And that's along the same lines of the avenue that I follow.
And that's something a lot of people don't realize. Why the benches are where they are in these cemeteries.
That's the reason why.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And you could go to the smallest little pioneer cemetery or whatever else. There's a bench, and
Yeah,
people
because it's your duty to update the dead. It's your duty.
Yeah,
but very few people do it. Very few do it.
Interesting. Thanks for
And
bringing
it's also
that up.
the same reason why gravestones face two. In some cemeteries, gravestones face two different ways.
Yeah.
So to face the east is for the second coming of Christ. They're both correct, by the way, across the board. So the facing the east is for the second coming of Christ. To face the west is to watch family members and the vicar or the priests go into church. And that's why you have two different, sometimes they face one way, sometimes they face the other, in either the same graveyard or different graveyards or cemeteries. And they're both correct, but they both mean two different things.
Interesting. Very interesting. And most people would never think that. It's like, Tom saying benches are usually for sitting. Oh, well, that's the whole point. Yeah, you sit on the bench, and that's when you're updated, and that's when you update blah, 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 back and forth sort of thing, right?
Yeah. So basically, you do it in silent reflection in your head.
Yeah.
So because obviously you don't want to speak out loud in the graveyard because either people walk away from it. But basically, that's generally. So if you wanted to say, I know it sounds weird, but if you were to address an entire graveyard, say, right, by the way, since you people died, X, Y, and Z's happened, and this happened, this happens, and so on, and sort of update that, because they actually still part of the community. If they didn't form part of the community, then the benches wouldn't be there.
Wow. That is so cool, because that is something, like I said, many people would never ever realize. It's a tidbit of information that people would just like, what? Why does anybody even think about this stuff? And it's important to think about this stuff. It really is, to know that kind of information when you're visiting these places.
Yeah, we've got there's so many things like that that've like fallen away at the wayside over years, that people either don't learn it or don't understand it. And in England, we have masses of traditions. We have something called the beating of the bounds, unique to England, where around Ascension Tide, they used to walk the perimeters of their village or perimeters of their area. And in history gone by, and I'm probably one of the few people it's happened to, there used to be stones at certain areas. And when we were children, we'd have our head banged off the stones until it drew blood. And that's so you remember your bounds of your area. And it's called beating of the bounds. And then now it's like they go past them and they don't know the stone's there. And they're just like, very few people actually walk the bounds. But it is a tradition called beating of the bounds. But back in the 70s, I think that was the last time it was done, they used to actually carry on the tradition of banging the child, mainly boys, the heads off a stone. So you remember it. Not you were prepared for it. It wasn't normally like really hard bangs, like a little tap, really, to be fair. It's just the symbolism of remembering your boundary within your area. And that sort of tradition, that's way gone. They don't even walk the area. They don't do. I'm not suggesting you don't bang the children's heads off anymore, but you don't even walk the bounds anymore. That tradition is gone. So we have traditions like that. There's no reason why they can't bring it back. Nothing's stopping it at all. But we have loads of these ancient traditions that just don't happen. Like the tradition of, after a house has been blessed, if you go around the house every week and just flick holy water around it, that's a medieval tradition. I still do it to this day, and I'm one of the few people in England that still does it. The rest of the majority don't even know it was done, and I carry it on most weeks, and it's a very, very old tradition.
Wow, that's cool. Like, I was watching not too long ago one of the vids that you posted there, and it was an old Templar church.
Yeah,
An old, and this thing's just a small little, I can't remember the name of the church, but a small little church in the middle of,
yeah,
nowhere, fields, farm fields,
it
whatever. But
was.
I found that fascinating when you went in,
Yeah,
you're describing everything and what it is. And I found that very fascinating.
the reason why it's kept secret is not because it's so much the church; it's because the houses nearby. There's no police there, so it's pretty easy to. It's criminality, so that's the reason why.
Absolutely. No,
It's
I
not from the
wholeheartedly agree.
church.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
and that's a problem. You don't want to disclose some of these locations because I
no,
mean, you never know what's going to happen.
that church has got a lot of these old churches. What people have to mention is ley lines are between medieval like church to a medieval church. That's
Mhm.
not necessarily the churches that exist today, but the churches that did exist. So you have ley lines between X, Y, and Z. So this church that you're talking about had a ley line between that and the next village up, the next town along. And you draw those lines, and that's how ley lines are drawn on a map. That's how people know about it. So this church still has. So these people. Sorry, I'll start again. Some people do devil worshipping or have done devil
Mhm.
worshipping, which I don't advocate at all, at some of these churches. So they know, although they've been deconsecrated, they've raised something that shouldn't have been raised. Yeah.
Mhm.
So basically, I was told before I went to this one you mentioned about this that happened, but as soon as I went in, I smelled church. I didn't smell anything bad and I didn't feel anything bad. I instantly felt church. And when you look around at some of the medieval fixtures that are still there to this day, which is,
Mhm.
I mean, most of our buildings today have fallen down in 40 years. These things have been in existence for 1,000 years. It's just mind blowing.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, it is mind blowing because, well, number one, you guys over there have so many, like I said, some of these places have been there for thousands of years.
Yeah.
Hastings Castle, where I live, was built in the 1200s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thousands of
And
years.
it's still. I mean, most of it is derelict. Don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? There's not much left of the place, but they used to have dungeons that date back to like 1400s, etc. So you can imagine some of the graphic stuff that used to happen there. Really.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you look at, the time when, around the time when it was built, up until, when it was still in service and so on and so on, and the sort of aspects of livelihood, day-to-day life, how different it was as opposed to now.
Yeah.
And here you are. Here's a window into that time that's still standing. It might not look as good as it did, 300-400 years ago, but still, it's in immaculate shape.
I
See,
would say a lot of what's left there, like stone wise, etc., would hold a residual. Not like
Oh,
Paul's
yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Paul
absolutely.
knows exactly what I mean by that. Like when he said
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can
yeah,
feel that
Yeah.
residual energy that's
yeah,
still there. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
absolutely.
See, one of the things that paranormal people don't also understand is the nearest and best location is normally the one underneath your nose.
Hmm.
But they travel miles and miles because it looks good. Because I'm not going to go into the names, but probably all know the topical locations.
Hmm.
Forget the topical locations. Go to the freebie that's just down the road from where you live.
Yeah.
That's what you need to be doing. There's normally going to get more activity, but people are hooked on. And I'm not suggesting that there's a business in this for certain people. What I am saying is that paid locations for me, I'd rather go to free locations because they're literally normally the nearest ones to go to. And you're probably going to get better stuff. Just because they're not topical on the web or on YouTube, it doesn't mean to say you're not going to get the best activity there.
And let's be honest, a lot of these paid locations really don't have a background to them at all. They don't. It's just a lot of, you know,
Yeah,
I want to say crap.
yeah,
It really is. I mean, there's really nothing to them, and it's just people have propped them up to being haunted or whatever else, and feeding you this sort of fake lore or fake
yeah.
background, and then people run with it because they believe it.
Yeah, I mean, I went to a location recently and it was where there should be paranormal, but we didn't. I don't think we got anything at all. And we debunked it, right? Me and Just Lily, who's on YouTube, Just Lily Zero, we went to Stepping Stones. It's another part of Cannock Chase,
Mhm.
and a lot of people don't know it's there. Now the stones were from Stafford Prison. They were the hanging. They were around where the public hanging point was when they did public hangings in England in the early 19th century. The stones were taken away. Some of them stones were used as stepping stones on Cannock Chase. To go back to what residual energy and everything, it should have energy from people getting hung. But I didn't get it. I didn't get it at all. I was expecting to get complete, and that's one example what I might think I should get, and you get complete. Doesn't mean to say there's nothing there, but I know another group has gone since and got nothing as well. So,
hey Paul, I actually spent a few months in the camp in Shrewsbury.
Oh, in the prison at Shrewsbury.
That place is very old as well, like so. I think that goes back to Edwardian times, I do believe, and they used to hang people in there as well.
Yeah.
And whilst I was there, I experienced some really crazy experience. You know what I mean? There was certain noises and there were certain things that I couldn't associate with like common noises that were going on a day to day. If that makes sense, like But like 2-3 o'clock in the morning. I mean, obviously, most of the place is quiet. Yeah, you can't. Do you know what I mean? It's like really quiet. You're not allowed to have your TV on, etc., etc. As you know, one of them. But I heard like a rope, kind of, like a rope swinging. You know, when it's tall, that kind of noise. Like, it was definitely on. And I swear, every night about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, you could hear it. Like, and it was very straight. I went and quizzed the I'll call them staff. I went and quizzed the staff, right? And I was asking about like vents on the roof. Do you know what I mean? I was trying to figure it out myself, like, but there was no logical answer given to me for that, like. So,
you see, Steve, Stabs picks up on a good point, Steve. I don't know if you're aware of it, but in England, Steve, when they've hung people at prisons, they buried them within the prison grounds, so their soul would never leave prison. Is so the saying goes, right? This is true. This actually happens. So when they renovate some prisons, they dig up bodies that are in the prisons, and that's why they hung them inside and they buried them from the prison grounds. Believe it or not, you don't have to go to prison. If you go to the old hanging trees in England, they used to bury the bodies around the hanging trees or land near to the hanging trees, right? So one of the other things we used to do in England is put people in irons. So they had like a body-shaped iron all over them, like pieces of iron over them. And whilst they were still alive, put them in irons and left them hanging on the post until they were down to bones. That was the morbidity of England. That's how people were killed. So they put in irons as like alive, and they were screaming and shouting, and they'd stay there until they were dead, and they were rotted through to the bones. And they're called irons, and that exists. Those trees still exist. So nobody's done paranormal at those trees. I've got one location I want to do, but nobody's done paranormal at those trees. And then the bodies were eventually buried around the hanging points. The spirit would never leave the hanging point.
Interesting.
And that's all over the world as well. Probably.
Tom was asking about ley lines and, are they scientifically validated? No, they haven't been scientifically validated. Go
on. Sorry, go on.
But they're considered pseudoscience and pseudo archaeology. But I mean, not false, Tom, but it just isn't recognized as science. It just doesn't mean it's currently recognized as science. And we have to remember, science is fallible. It's man-made. It doesn't mean it's the end-all be-all. Science has been proven wrong time and time again. But currently, right now, ley lines aren't considered to be scientific proof. No. But I mean, it doesn't mean that they're right. Doesn't mean that they're wrong, right? I mean, that's the way I've always looked at ley lines. So, yeah.
I think you're spot on, Steve. I mean, I've only ever been physically touched by an unknown entity, if you want to call it that, in my life. They've only all been, both of these times it's been in the last few years. This year was recently at Hopper's Woods, where I was with two people, one to my left and one in front of me, who sat down in front of me. And I was directly below a yew tree canopy. And I felt something smack me on the top of the head. And then a branch snapped in front of a thickish branch like that, which wasn't from a yew tree. And the next day I felt the bruise on my head where I'd been hit behind. There was nobody behind me at all because I could see turn around and the branch hit me on the head. So there could be rational explanation that it fell through the yew tree, but we'd have to have fallen at some force because of quite a thickish canopy, so it couldn't have logical explanations probably, but put it on the top gone.
I mean, like you, I've had an incident that I can't explain, and it's not explainable. I mean, I literally had my shirt being tugged like this,
Yeah.
Literally tugged,
Yeah.
as if somebody was, grasping it and tugging it. And in the situation, when that happened, when it occurred, it didn't make any sense. I mean,
Yeah.
there's absolutely no reasoning for it, and there's no way without some sort of force actually going like this
Yeah.
for
I mean,
because I mean there was no there was it, I was in a house and the windows were closed. It was stagnant. It was like an oven. There's absolutely even though if a wind was doing that, it was tugged. It wasn't blown.
yeah,
It was tugged.
it happened when you won't expect it. Because the first time
Exactly.
mine was walking through past an abbey on the outside of an old abbey, because it split
Yeah.
up during the Reformation. And over the years, what's happened there has got progressively worse. So,
Mhm.
like the first time it was hearing a bell, and I was walking with a group, so the whole group heard the bell. There hadn't been a bell in there since Henry VIII was King of England. The
Yeah.
second time, Latin chant. Third time was when somebody I was on WhatsApp doing a WhatsApp, and they watched the gate open and shut behind me. This is in the daytime, open and shut behind me. And then the last time was where my camera was pulled around my neck. I had my left hand in my pocket, my right hand on my walkie stick. My camera was pulled like that in front of me, so it wasn't caught on anything.
Yeah.
But they will only happen if you expect it. It won't happen. So your
Mm.
shirt, you couldn't have been thinking that. No, you couldn't have been thinking that, and it just happened. It took you by surprise.
Yeah, it's intriguing. Like I said, I've been investigating the paranormal for 25 years now, and just like I said, I always say 99.9% of it's
Yeah,
easy. You can explain it,
yeah,
but there's always that 1% that
yeah,
you can look at it any way you want, science, blah
yeah,
blah blah. You just can't explain it. It's currently
yeah,
outside our current understanding,
yeah,
scientifically or even religiously.
yeah.
However
I
you look
totally
at
agree.
it.
Totally agree.
Yeah, so
It's
interesting.
it's how it works is really. I mean, when this year's been a location I haven't been to since the early 1980s,
Yeah.
and it started off, and it was through a conversation that I had was started with somebody 2 years ago, and
Mhm.
this year a group actually came out to it, and I all thought it was in my head what happened in the early 80s, right? It was about 15, and basically, lo and behold, it's just took off this one location like it's gone mad. The amount of people that have like this woods, it's quite topical on the.
Yeah.
It's worse than Cannock Chase. It's worse than Cannock Chase, and
Mhm.
it's basically where I slept alone for a dare in the woods because it was always synonymous with being
Oh my god.
um yeah. And basically, I I thought it was so. I took this group out and I said, look, I was talking to this lad, and obviously he travelled a long way because I said, look, I need somebody to see it from a different angle to myself
Mhm.
where it just took off. It's just gone. And they've without doubt said there's witches there. Without doubt, it's plastered with witches. And it even got history back to 1643, when the Royalists in the English Civil War housed their horses in a house in this woods before they launched an attack on the siege on the nearest city. It's got English Civil War history, when it just went boom. And I've had people that are debunkers.
Mhm.
I've said debunkers said they've gone flip side and said this is real. This isn't this. It's not right here. This can't happen. So
Mhm.
when you
Yeah.
get people like that saying it, well, I only knew what happened to me in the 80s, and basically it's just. But now it's like on boom. It's just on literally boom. Opened up this woods.
But I mean, the key thing, Paul, is with you is I'm finding that you're very educated in the history and the background on a lot of these places, and that's key. It's key to educate yourself on the history of these places, right? Because
Yeah,
I mean, ultimately, what you want to do is you go into these places if you're investigating them.
Yeah,
You want to kind of like sort of say, okay, this happened in a certain point in its history,
yeah.
and I'm getting this. Is there a link?
That's what. Yeah. But this weekend, I'm going
Yeah,
to a location I don't know the history of at all, at all. So the
yeah,
people are seeing what I come out with, see if it's relevant to the history they've read. But I've not
mm,
read the history um, at all because I want to try a few other techniques if I can
yeah.
to see if they correlate with. Because otherwise, so if anybody thinks, oh, you're secretly reading about the history, no, because I want to try and do something different, and it won't work if it won't. Chances are nothing will happen.
Mm-hmm.
So, like the first part, I want to walk down a path, this particular
Yeah.
path, which is a mile long, So nothing may happen. Fine, answered it, John, done, fine. But if it does, I want to try and then, you know what I mean? So I'm trying different ways of doing things, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. And, when you're dealing with this, you have to try something different. You need to try different techniques and, directions and so on and so on. I mean, we don't fully know what's going on. And I mean, I keep saying this about it as a whole. If you're looking into this and you're staying with the staple, you're staying with what everybody else is doing, you're not going to get anywhere. We're not going to further anything. You need to
No,
think. You need to think outside, like Sab is thinking outside the box, right? You really do. You have to
yeah,
think outside that box to really understand and truly
and
forward.
be open-minded as well, but not
You
so
need,
open-minded you
absolutely.
break the edge. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
well,
yeah.
yeah, you need to be
Yeah,
open-minded, but at the same time, you need to be responsible enough to know that hey, okay, look at well, yeah, okay, I can explain that because it makes sense. But yeah, there's stuff that we're dealing with that no matter what you think, there is no explanation in our current understanding. And that's where we're going, okay, what is this? What's going on? I
yeah,
need to know. And, because people don't realize that there's terminology for a lot of things, things that are happening within the paranormal that people don't know. They need to be told.
yeah,
And then they're like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense. That makes yeah, absolutely." And this is why it is always good to educate yourself with the terminology in terms of the paranormal, in terms of what you're dealing with. There's like phenomena that people have come across, and they will classify it as paranormal. And realistically, no, say it's a photo. Well, no, that photo can be explained through this anomaly, and this sort of aspect has happened many times. This is exactly what it is,
yeah,
right? They really need to know that stuff when they're doing this, but at the same time, you have to say, no, it seems a little different than that. There's
yeah,
something about this that doesn't make sense, that doesn't fall in the same category. I really need to know more about this. And that's somebody who's truly driven to say, look at, no, I don't agree with this assessment because it doesn't make sense,
yeah. That's a
right?
good point because what I'm going to do later, well, hopefully, it might be earlier next year, is in the county that I live in. The police have published pictures of bodies that people have died in the 60s and early 70s that they haven't got a name for, right? So they haven't got a name for these people, right? The bodies have
Yeah.
since been cremated, so you can't get DNA, right? Wouldn't it be interesting if the paranormal could get, I know it sounds weird, get the names of these people, because it's somebody's family, it's got to be at the end of the day. Whatever happens, it's got to be somebody's family, and give a name to these people
Mm-hmm.
so they could be like, formally, if you like, put to rest or whoever it is or named. Now it's a shot in the dark, I admit, but then it would. So it's using paranormal for a different way, because then if it comes up with the names and somebody says, because in our case the county the police put on the local paper, nobody knows who these people are. Somebody's got to. Right? I'm not
Yeah.
willing in 20. Even if it's 20th century, somebody must know who they are, right? Even somehow, yeah. So if we could get like one lady was found right in the early 70s, all her jewellery, makeup inside of a train tunnel, not been touched by a train. How is that even possible? Somebody
Exactly.
must know who that is. So using paranormal could be get some way of getting this person's name and putting a, you know what I mean? So maybe it's like using paranormal for a different way. That interests me at the moment. Then it, you know, somebody says, "Oh, how did you come out with that name?" And you tell them, they're never going to believe that's real, are they? But the police have put the picture on the web. So if people on the web can't come up with the names, and you suddenly come up with the names, well, if it's somebody who was before I was born, it was nothing to do with me, then, you know. So
Yeah.
how can you come up with it? It cannot be discredited, can it? There has to be a logical proof of this working.
Yeah, I think that's a part and parcel with you know, educating the general populace about the paranormal and how to view it. And you know, a lot of people will go to the TV shows and they're
Yeah,
educated that way, and you're like,
yeah,
no, absolutely not. You need,
no,
and I've said this a million times, people who are truly serious about investigating the paranormal or paranormal phenomena, period, are on the sidelines, are in the shadows, are the people who don't care to have that kind of exposure. They want to know what's going on. They don't
yeah,
care to post their findings and so on and so on. They don't need the likes and subscribes and blah blah blah. They are all about trying to further our understanding on what is happening. And those are, and this is what we need to sort of educate the general populace on this. I mean, for crying out loud, I mean, people just don't understand. They automatically think when you know, oh, you're a ghost hunter, you're a paranormal investigator, and it's all about, you know, what I see on TV. Come on, no, absolutely not. You're
yeah,
not seeing in between the cuts and the edits. You're not seeing that the, you know, what happens in the 3 hours of nothing happening. You know, the boredom that a lot of
yeah,
times that people are like, oh, well, why would you show that? Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
It's the same adage though. If you say we're going to a community event
Hmm.
and somebody said to you, do a display on ghost hunting, well, it's the same argument, believe it or not, or same difficulty that priests and vicars have. If they say to you, prove a ghost here, you can say to a priest, well, prove God's here. It's the same argument. Unless this
Exactly.
day,
Yeah.
unless it's tangible, it's in people's faces. If they can't touch and
Exactly.
feel it, it doesn't exist.
Exactly.
It's a belief system. Yeah.
That's the key word, tangibility. Humans believe in tangibility. If they get, it's within their five senses. You
Yeah,
know, if it's outside, when you look at the metaphysical sort of aspect of life, people are like, oh, that's not real. I can't, where do you find that? I mean, when you look at something simple as like carbon monoxide and germs,
yeah.
you know, I
You
keep
see,
bringing this up. I mean,
yeah,
these were outside our fucking senses. We didn't
yeah,
know
yeah,
these existed.
I had this exact conversation with my 5-year-old yesterday, and I was
Yeah,
explaining to her. Just,
yeah,
I mean, and the best way I could describe it to her was this: I said, "Breathe in, then breathe out. Can you see that air?" And she was like, "No, I can't see
yeah,
it."
yeah.
yeah,
But you know it's there though,
it's
don't you?
there,
Because
but
you know
yeah,
you're breathing
Yeah,
it in, you're breathing it out, so you know
yeah.
it's there. Just because you can't see it with the naked eye doesn't mean to say it's not there. Yeah.
Exactly. It's us
but
talking, us
yeah,
talking right now. We're creating energy. We don't see that. We
yeah.
might hear it, but we don't see it.
When I went to a woods recently, the conversation I was having with this person went on for about 2 years, to be fair.
Yeah.
And I said I wasn't going to give him the answers on this particular woods until he'd been there, right? But the one thing I said is, it will split your group up. No, it won't. No, it won't. No, it won't. No, it won't. He was adamant. He said, it's not going to happen. It ain't going to happen. It won't split a group up. When we did the investigation, I turned around to him and said, where's your group? You told me this wasn't going to happen. And he said, we're not. He says, oh no. He says, you've done exactly what you said. He said, your words to me were, you would never split from your group. The group stay together. Where's your group now? And I said, it's done exactly what I told you I said it would do. And he
Yep.
said, you cannot, and he couldn't get over that. And he said, I don't believe that's actually happened. I said, you didn't even know you were doing it, and it made you do it because they all stick together as a group. And he said, it's spot on exactly what I said. And the other things he said, because I didn't give him the full answers, right? So because I thought, well, I'll play a bit of a game, like, and yeah, that was one of them. That was one of them that came out, and he just couldn't believe that it had done that. And I did tell him, but he disproved it. Now these paranormal ones, he said, "When happened? When happened? We'll be together. We'll do as you say." And then when they split up, went, "Where's your group gone?" But just goes to show, you know. But this day and age, it's about perception and it's about what people think. And unless it's real to them, it's like when I tried to explain when I died, which is a principal part really of it wasn't quite. I didn't see no end of a tunnel. It wasn't like that at all. It wasn't like that at all. There's a video on it on my channel, but it's a bit because somebody said to me, said, "Well, if you died, how come you woke up in the corridor?" I said, "I'm just telling you that's what happened." And I said, it was a hell of a road for me by all stretch of the imagination. It was the weirdest part of my life by all stretch of the imagination, but it happened, and it was documented happens. I mean, it's the only time I was sick in true fear because my physical sick was bright green. It was a luminous green, so I knew that was true fear. Yeah, and I know I denied. So, but that I tried to put that into words that somebody would understand. It's so hard to do. You know, they don't believe it. They can't believe that is physically possible. That and what happened during the operation. It was just, but the surgeons all saw they they could see my eyes flickering, so they knew something was going on. And when they put blood into me, defibbed me. I went into the matron called me in and said, "We know something exactly was going on. We've seen these operations hundreds of times. We know something was going on with you this time. You need to speak to people." And they recognised it. And I at that point, my head was all over the show. But trying to put that into words that somebody will not so much believe, but understand what's real for me. It's like reading a book. All three of us could read the same book. We get the general line of what the answer is, but we interpret it in a different way.
Exactly. Everyone's got a different perspective. Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
The best way I learned that one was sociology, psychology when I was in college. I was 19, and our tutor actually got us all to sit. There was about 15 of us in the class, and he put all the tables, like 6 tables together in the middle, and put all the chairs all the way around in a big circle. He literally put a pen in the middle of the table, and he asked individually, us, "What is your perception of that pen?" Now, obviously, someone's going to see the ball of the pen facing them, and I'm going to see on the opposite side of the table the back of the pen. We're all looking at exactly the same pen.
Same thing.
Around the table, we've all got a different perception. Yeah.
That is spot on. That is a very easy way of explaining how spot on that is.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I do that too when we're reviewing audio. I'll say, look it, I'm going to give you a clip. I don't want you to mass broadcast your answer. Only give your answer to me. Don't give it to the rest of the group. I want you to tell me what you're experiencing or what you hear with this audio clip. And, however many people, 5, 6, 10, whatever. And when they come back and all their answers are within the same sort of scope, you're like, wow. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So that must be the answer. Perception is incredible. It is really incredible. An individual perception. That's why when we do the shows, when we do what we call dark discussions, Paul, and I'd love to have you on one of these because I love your approach. We come on, we discuss all these different paranormal sort of aspects with different people from different parts of the paranormal sort of realm. And it's really intriguing to hear everyone's perception. I think it's very, very important to get that out there to educate people on the paranormal.
That's why you're unique. That's why you're unique because you are, because I'm going to tell you why you're unique, because there's a lot of debunkers. So debunkers is proving something that doesn't exist. What do you call somebody who wants to prove what you prove then? What's the term? What's the one word to describe you? So you got debunkers, call it debunkers. They're proving that stuff doesn't exist. What about people like you that are proving it does exist? Give me one word that says that. There's not a word for it, is there?
No.
Confirmationist.
Confirmationist.
No, but I'm saying there's not a word. There's not a word. We know openly. We know somebody says a debunker in the paranormal world. Most people can know what one is. So what's the proof of somebody proving it exists? Like Steve, what's the one word for that? There isn't one. So what does that tell you? They don't want to believe. They don't want to believe.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people who just outright debunk don't want to.
We should just call it Steve, shouldn't we? Proving it exists is just called Steve. He can patent it to himself then.
I would never call myself a debunker, but I would call myself, being very a healthy skeptic,
a realist.
But you know what? It doesn't mean that I don't believe something's going on. I wholeheartedly believe something's going on, and that's that. Like I said, that 1%, I want to know what's going on.
I did 3 videos where I found absolute on the trot completely. Most of my videos, which I'm put on the web, I've literally, because I try not to put the ones that just show something. I put the ones that don't show anything, because the vast majority of the time I don't get anything. If you honest truth is, and that's the case a lot of the time. So you just, but it's good to show sometimes that you don't get anything.
Absolutely.
There could be a multitude of reasons why, and that happens a lot. I do want to put a balanced approach. I mean, the one at Cannock Chase, I was hoping too much for something to be there, stepping stones. And I got the REM pod going off, but I thought, no, something not right with that. Other than that, it was completely and utterly nothing there at all.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one of the people that came with me had collapsed at one of the woods. She'd never been to this particular woods, so she's topical, which Tab knows. She'd never, and it was topical. She actually physically collapsed, right? So you can't debunk it because she'd never really been to one of these investigations. And she physically collapsed and was asking for her mom and dad. This is a woman in her 60s.
Yeah.
A daughter who's in her 20s was with me. Weren't asking for a daughter. Her daughter randomly burst into tears. Randomly burst into tears. And I said, what do you cry for? She went, I have absolutely no idea.
Well, on that note, guys, I'm going to have to end this. But Paul, I really, really appreciate you coming on. It's finally good to talk to you.
Thank you.
And I would love to bring you on for a show or 2 or whatever.
Just message me. But just remember, I'm not technologically advanced, so just message me. And just,
no problem. I will message you. I would love to have you on for a full show. And Sab, always great to see you, buddy.
And you, man, and you, and Paul as well.
I
get around a bit harder. I'm telling.
That's a good thing, man. You're making the circles full, buddy. You're making the circles full. And everybody
bring us all together. That's it.
Exactly. And everybody in chat, thank you for watching. And so no show this Sunday night, but I'm sure we'll pop in here live on the road from Western New York somewhere. I don't know. But anyways, guys, take care.
Take it easy.
Yeah.